I became a mom at 26. And I mean, God, nothing prepares you for it. The love, it's hard, but so does the fear. It was just me and my daughter, Ellie. She was 11 months old when this happened, still sleeping in her crib next to my bed because, yeah, I was that kind of mom. The one who checks every few minutes to make sure she's still breathing. Anyway, I bought this baby monitor. One of the newer ones, connects to your phone, night vision, two-way audio, motion alerts, all that. Felt high-tech, secure, and for a while it helped. I let her nap while I did dishes or passed out on the couch for a bit. It felt safe until the crying started. Every night, same time, 3:17 a.m. Not loud, not at first. More like this quiet whimper, confused, like she woke up and didn't know where she was. Then it would build to this sharp panic cry, like like something was wrong. I thought it was teething or nightmares. I mean, babies get those, right? But then it just kept happening. 3:17 on the dot. Every single night. That's when I started really watching the camera. At first, it looked normal. Ellie would sit up suddenly, wide-eyed, still, and she'd just stare, not at the door, not at me, just toward this one corner of the room, like she was watching something. I'd wave or whisper her name through the monitor, but she wouldn't react, wouldn't even blink. And then the sound started cutting out. Not static, not even silence. Just nothing. No breathing. No creak of her crib. Not even her crying. It was like the whole room had been muted. I thought it was the app, glitching out. So I updated it, reset the monitor, even changed the Wi-Fi password, just in case someone weird had somehow gotten in. But the next night, 3:17 a.m., same thing. Ellie sits up, stares at the corner, and then, God, there was something behind her crib. Just this faint movement, like a shift in the shadow. Not a person, not anything solid, just enough to make you blink and question what you saw. Like, like a curtain moving, but slower, heavier, except the window was shut. Always had been. I remember whispering to myself, like, please just be a glitch. Please just be compression or signal lag or anything else. But it wasn't. And the audio, still gone. I I didn't even think. I grabbed my phone and ran. Her room was ice cold. Ellie was standing up in her crib, arms out, shaking, tears all over her face. I scooped her up so fast I nearly tripped. And that corner, the one she kept staring at, empty. No vent, no window, just a blank wall, a shelf with some old stuffed animals. I unplugged the monitor that night, put her in bed with me, didn't sleep, just laid there, staring at the wall, holding her. Next morning, I tried rewatching the feed. You know, to prove to myself I imagined it. That was nothing, but the file was corrupted. The only thing it showed was the timestamp and a frozen image of Ellie sitting up in her crib. That blank look on her face, staring at something I'll never see. I emailed the company, told them my camera must have glitched, asked if the footage could be recovered. They responded the next day, said the video had been remotely accessed and deleted from another device, logged in under my account. I was the only one who had a login. Or, I thought I was. I checked the access history. There were 27 login attempts from an unknown device over the past 2 weeks. Always around 3 a.m. Always. I felt sick, like something was crawling under my skin, like someone had been watching, listening, for weeks, maybe longer. And then I started remembering things I brushed off. The monitor's light blinking in the middle of the night. Shadows shifting in the hallway when I was sure every light was off. Ellie refusing to sleep unless I was holding her. God, I called a tech friend. He looked at the camera and said someone had probably intercepted the signal, that they could have been using white noise interference to kill the audio feed in real time, which would explain why it felt like silence. And maybe the thing I saw, I don't know what they wanted. To scare me? To study us? To plan something worse? I filed a police report. They traced the IP, said it was local. That was it. We packed up and moved within the week. New apartment, new monitor, one of the old school ones. No Wi-Fi, no app. And finally, things felt normal again. Until 2 nights ago. There was a box on my doorstep. No return address. Inside was a small plush toy and a USB stick. I didn't plug it in. Didn't need to. Because the plush, it was hers. The same one I'd thrown away before we moved. From Ellie's old shelf. The one that sat in that corner. The one she stared at. Every night. At 3:17. This still messes with my head, even now. It happened during my second year of college, when I stayed in this dorm just off campus. The building was old, like the kind of old that smells like dust no matter how much you clean. Creaky floors, weird humming from the walls sometimes, and this dull yellow lighting that made everything feel like you were stuck in a bad dream from the 1970s. My room was all the way down the hall, tucked in the corner. At the time, I actually liked that. I thought it meant more peace, more privacy. God, I was so wrong. It started small, barely even noticeable. I come back from class, and my textbooks would be stacked in the opposite order. Or like, a hoodie I know I left slumped over my chair would be folded neatly on my bed. I remember asking my roommate, straight up, if he was messing with me. He laughed, said no, even looked kind of confused when I pressed. So, I figured maybe it was me. Stress, exhaustion, just college brain, right? But it kept happening. Little things. Things no one would ever notice unless they lived there. My mug facing the other direction. My lamp felt dimmer than usual. And my shoes, this one sticks with me. They were perfectly lined up by the door. Like heel-to-toe military neat. I don't do that. Never have. And I know it sounds stupid, but every time I'd leave for more than an hour, something fell off when I came back. Always small. Always just enough to make me second-guess myself. I started dreading walking back in. Like I'd be holding my breath, scanning the room without even meaning to. Whenever I brought it up, people would smile or make that face. You know the one. Like I was the weird one. Like I was just being dramatic. So, yeah, I set up a webcam. Not to prove anything to anyone else, just to me. I needed to know if I was losing it or not. I angled it at my desk, on my bed. Hit record. Left for a couple hours. When I came back, everything looked fine. But that night, when I watched the footage, there was this moment, this horrible, sinking moment. The door, it never opened. The footage didn't cut. Nothing obvious happened, except my chair moved. Not fast, not all at once, but slow, like over an hour. It slid maybe an inch to the left. And then a pen rolled slightly, like the desk had been tilted for a second. And the closet door, it creaked open, barely, just enough to see the shadow behind it shift. I just sat there, frozen. It felt like I was watching my own memory get violated. Like something invisible had touched my space while I was gone. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't even lie down. I just sat there. Next morning, I bought a better webcam. One with night vision. Set it up. Left for the gym. When I came back, everything looked the same. But the footage, my wardrobe, this big, Old thing built into the wall shuddered, like something inside had bumped it, like pressure from the inside. And then, just before the camera glitched into stop, the entire wardrobe shifted forward, maybe half an inch. It wasn't bolted. I I don't know why I assumed it was, but God, I felt my throat tighten. Grabbed a flashlight, walked over, and put my hand on it. It moved. Not easily, but enough. Enough that my pulse just started pounding in my ears. I pushed it aside, and behind it, there was this door. Hidden. Thin. It looked like a crawl space door you'd find in an attic. But this was a dorm room. It shouldn't have been there. I stood there for, I don't know. I didn't want to open it. I really didn't. But I did. And inside, there were these ratty blankets piled up, some empty fast food bags, a cracked phone charger still plugged into an outlet, and a journal. I flipped through it. Most of the pages were just scribbles. Like, not words. Just loops, drawings, some names maybe. But the last page, it said, "You never notice the little things until it's too late." And that's it. That's all it said. I moved out 2 days later. Told the housing office my ceiling was leaking. They didn't even check. I don't know who was in there, or how long they'd been watching me. But every now and then, I still wonder if they ever really left, or if I just stopped noticing. You ever have a moment where you just know something's wrong, but you can't explain it? Like, your gut's screaming at you, but your brain's just standing there trying to make sense of it. Yeah, that's what this felt like. I, I've always thought dogs were a little, I don't know, tuned in, like they pick up on stuff we don't. But what happened at our last place? God, it still gives me chills just thinking about it. My wife and I just moved into this rental, right? It was out past the city a bit, quiet street, tall trees, lots of space. It honestly felt like a good change. Peaceful. A place where we could breathe again. Anyway, a few weeks in, we adopted this rescue dog, Milo. Sweetest dog I've ever met. Just one of those clingy, loyal types. Always by your side. Follows you room to room. Bathroom too. Small laugh. Kinda awkward but endearing. But there was this one thing. One really weird thing he did. Every night, every single night, at 11:34 p.m., Milo would stop, like completely freeze, right at the edge of the hallway. Wouldn't take another step. At first, we thought he was just being quirky. You know how dogs are sometimes. But he'd just stand there, staring, eyes locked on this one random part of the wall. No door there, no window, just plain white wall. And he'd growl, this low, guttural sound, not playful, not even alert. He was scared, like warning growls. And he wouldn't go any farther. Not for treats, not if we called him, nothing. He'd just turn around, tail tucked, and sleep on the couch instead of in our room. We laughed about it first. Hallway ghosts. I joked once. Huh, I don't joke about it anymore. Because it didn't stop. Every night. Same time. Same damn spot. And then one night, it got worse. I was up late. Couldn't sleep. Just flipping through channels on the couch when I heard this deep growl from Milo. Like angry. The kind of growl that makes your skin tighten. I got up, walked toward the hallway, and there he was. He wasn't just frozen this time. He was pacing, growling, barking, and then he started clawing at the wall. Like really going at it. Scratching hard, whining, freaking out. I was about to stop him, tell him to cut it out, but then I noticed something weird. The baseboard, it looked off, like someone had painted over it badly. The color didn't match right, and there was this tiny ridge along the edge. So I bent down, ran my hand across it, and I felt a line, like a seam, and suddenly I don't know why, but I grabbed a screwdriver from the drawer and just started prying at it. The drywall cracked, and there was this little door, like maybe 3 feet tall. Milo backed off the second it popped open, whined, and ran straight to the kitchen. He wanted nothing to do with it. Me? I was too far in at that point. I grabbed my flashlight, got down on my hands and knees, and crawled inside. It was a narrow corridor. Cold. Dust everywhere. I remember the air tasted stale, like old metal and something rotting. And at the end, there was this crawl space, completely sealed off. No reason it should have even been there. It was like someone built it to be hidden. And inside, God, there were these chains, rusted, thick, bolted right into the wall. The drywall had deep scratch marks, like someone had been clawing at it for hours. Days, maybe. In the corner was a crumpled blanket, dirty, moldy even, and under it, just barely sticking out, was a piece of paper. I pulled it out, and it was a flyer, a missing person flyer, yellowed, torn on the sides, but you could still see the photo. It was this young woman, brown hair, blank expression. I I didn't recognize her, but there was something about the photo, something that made me feel sick. Next morning, I showed it to the landlord. I didn't say much, just handed it to him. He looked at it, and he went pale, like blood drained from his face pale. He didn't say a single word. He just left, got in his truck, and drove off. Didn't come back that day, or the next. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I looked up a name on the flyer, and that's when it hit me. She'd been missing for 12 years. 12. And her last name? It matched the landlord's. Turns out, she was his sister. And that space, whatever it was, it had been right behind our wall the whole time.